What's up guys, welcome to Tuned Into Cars and welcome back to my BMW M2. It's been a little over 1 year since I've picked up this car. I've already done about 16,000 kilometers in it, and I think it's time to do an update on how this car performed over the past year. Don't you think? Before we start this video, please make sure you check out my Living with a BMW M2 playlist, where I cover basically all topics of what it's like to live with such a car. So if you're planning to buy a BMW M2 or an M2 competition, make sure you check those videos out, because I think it'll help you make a decision. I'll also make sure to link all of those videos below the like button. Okay, so now that I've plugged all my previous M2 videos, it's time to focus on this one. I'm going to tell you what this car has been up to in the past year. I'm going to cover what running costs I had to deal with, what problems I've encountered. I'll also tell you what I like the most about my spec, but also which options I left out, which I should have gotten. And finally, I'm also going to tell you my plans with this car. I don't know how you guys feel about the cars you own, but no matter what car I drive these days, whenever I get back into my BMW M2, instantly I remember why I love this car so much. Even after 12 months, it feels just as special as when I first picked it up. And yes, this is my only car, and I do use it all year round. And let me tell you, this car is just as much fun in the winter as it is during the summer. In the past 12 months, this car has been through 8 different countries. It did high-speed runs on the Autobahn, rode on a few ferries, and it also managed to carry a surprisingly high amount of stuff. Last year, just 1 week after picking this car up from the dealership, I took it on a 5,000 kilometer trip around Europe to Romania and back, the country where I'm from. And on that very road trip, I found out how usable this car actually is. It's got just enough luggage space and room on the inside for me and my family. Plenty of storage spaces throughout the car, and even though it doesn't have adaptive suspension, I'd say it was quite comfortable overall. Mind you, this is not 5 Series or 3 Series levels of comfort, but for an M car, it's pretty good. So let's talk about my spec a little bit. I'll give you a quick rundown right now. I'm 99% happy with the spec I chose for this car, except for one thing. I forgot to add the heated steering wheel, which is quite annoying, especially during the winter months here in Sweden. And the irony of it all is the fact that that was one of the cheapest options you could get on the M2, but it's really expensive if you try to fit it aftermarket. But there you go, you can't have them all. Let's see what else. Well, the Harman Kardon sound system is a pretty big letdown for me. It just doesn't sound like anything special to me. It's probably very good for the resale value of the car that I chose this option, but I have to be honest and tell you that I'm not at all impressed with the sound quality of this system. The two standout options that I absolutely adore in this car are: one, the LED headlights. They're fully automatic and they feature BMW's LED matrix system that can turn off sections of the LED headlight while still maintaining full beam. And the other option that I love is the sunroof, which not only brings more light into this very dark cabin, but it also brings a lot more of the exhaust noise inside. I'm not going to include fuel costs in this section because, frankly, it all depends on your right foot, actually, how heavy it is. But I can tell you that in the last 6 months, the car shows an average of 11.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Most of the time I drive this car outside of the city, like 70% of the time, and I have to be honest that I'm pretty heavy-footed, so to speak. Next up, it's insurance. I pay around 12,000 Swedish krona per year, and I've already put this insurance to work by replacing the windshield after it cracked pretty badly last summer, if I remember correctly. And I only had to pay, I think, 1,500 for the repair, which is not bad. Another cost I had on the car are the winter tires. The brand I went for is Continental, and I have to say that they're really good tires. And the cost of that was around 10,000 Swedish krona. And finally, there's the yearly tax for this car, which in Sweden is around 2,300 Swedish krona. So there we go, guys. Those are the costs that I had to deal with in the past 12 months with this car. I didn't include the first service I did to this car because in Sweden BMWs have 3 years of free servicing, and that means labor and parts included. If you're an old subscriber of this channel, you already know the first issue I had with this car. If you're not familiar with it, I'll link a video below the like button. But that issue got solved really fast by my friends at Bavaria Solna, and the problem never reappeared again. I had a new issue like 3 weeks ago, where the infotainment system started resetting itself, but for some reason that seems to have fixed itself. So, I don't know, if it reappears, I'm gonna let you guys know, but so far, after like 5 or 6 resets, it works perfectly. There you go. But otherwise, the car is holding up pretty well. Even though I drive it all year long, the paint on the outside holds up pretty well, and the interior is also in pretty good shape. There are no rattles or weird sounds on the inside. Wear and tear is pretty good on the materials. So all in all, build quality is pretty good. Technology and software, not so much. This is the tricky part because I really don't know what to do. I have managed to secure a spot in the waiting list for the upcoming M2 CS or CSL, whatever it's called, but that will take another 2 years until it reaches dealerships. So until then, I'm really tempted to try something else, but I can't really find a car in this price range that I like more than the M2. So I don't know actually. And if I don't come to a conclusion before April or May, I'm probably gonna start modifying this car. But that's been it for today's video, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Tuned Into Cars for lots more videos to come. And until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you around.